like to give everybody out there listening a very warm White Cat welcome, because you're tuned in to the White Cat Outdoors podcast.
All right. Beer start number 3.
How's it going, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to episode 36 of the White Cat Outdoors podcast. We have me, your host, Tom, and my brother, Nick.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
And tonight in the studio, we have our buddies from Deers and Beers, Kyle and Ryan.
Yes, sir. Hello. Thanks for having us, boys.
Yeah, no problem.
Glad to have you on.
We've been following each other on Instagram for quite a while, and kind of just seemed like we aligned with, enjoying the outdoors, but also having a little bit of fun as well. You guys are a bit of a meme page, it seemed to look like, too. But yeah, we just felt like everything lined up nicely and wanted to get you guys on and, shoot the shit for a while.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're cousins. We got some hunting property that we like to take advantage of. We love hunting. We love the outdoors. And I think the biggest thing is we don't really take ourselves too seriously. So that's kind of where the whole meme thing comes in. Like, you'll see us making memes about, people only shooting big bucks, people only shooting spikes, this and that, but then we like to toss in, some recipes, some of our strategies here and there, some cool photos. If we're fortunate enough to get, one on the ground, you'll see that too. So it's kind of just what we're all about, and just having fun and enjoying the outdoors.
So where are you guys based out of one more time?
So we hunt out of Mecosta County, which is kind of in between Big Rapids and Mount Pleasant, like where our spot is. And but like we live on opposite sides of the state. Ryan's on the east side. I'm on the west side.
Michigan, correct?
What's up?
Michigan, right?
Yeah, Michigan.
So you guys have to travel to even, how far apart are you guys? Like when you're going to hunt together, stuff, how much traveling you guys got to do?
So me, I usually am an hour and 10 minutes from the property, whereas Ryan's 3.
Yeah, I think I got it timed out. I'm about 2 hours and 30 minutes from my house to the property gate. So, and that kind of has its, obviously hunting your own private property has its advantages as well, but it kind of has its disadvantages because most of the time I'm limited, Kyle's limited to just hunting weekends, and you got to drive, 2.5 hours to get there. But yeah, usually, most of our hunting is done there. A little bit of state land, late season, but that state land's also up north, kind of close to where we hunt. So most of our hunting is upstate. But Kyle was pleasant enough to make the drive over here to my garage to do this podcast for you guys. My wife was like, "No, clean the toilet. Kyle's coming over." Why? He's gonna probably blow it up anyway. He's probably got Taco Bell before he got here, but
yeah,
It's never a bad
accurate.
choice.
Yeah.
No, we appreciate it. I didn't realize you guys live so far apart. Works out nice for us. I mean, we all live so close to each other. When I said we moved our studio over to my house, it was because I didn't want to make the 15-minute drive over to my cousin's place. So it wasn't a huge chore. I just didn't want to.
Well, think perspective, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
how many guys have on your page that are active in White Cat and the podcast and all that?
So the White Cat page there's 4 of us. There's me, Nick, obviously, my brother Tom, and my brother Luke, and then our cousin Frank. Obviously, Luke and Frank aren't here tonight, but the main hosts on the podcast are me, Tom, and Frank. Luke's more of a frequent guest, mainly because he works third shift, and we always record in the evening, so we get him on when we can, when we're doing fishing, because, I'll be honest, I don't know shit about fishing. I enjoy it, but
I'm there.
so, I enjoy fishing, but, Luke's the kind of guy, you look at his boat, and he's got, a tackle box for, each style of lure, and then you open the tackle box, and it's all, color-coded and ready to go, where, my tackle box has, the same lures that I got for, my 5th birthday. So.
Yeah. Tackle box, worms.
Yeah. Yeah, Walmart bag with some live worms and a box of donuts.
Yeah, I tell you what, that way catches fish too, though.
It's true.
How long are we going for?
What was that?
So my first question, how many beers do I got to bring? How long are we going for?
Oh, well, we don't have like a time limit. Our podcasts usually end up being between 30 minutes and an hour.
No,
Early,
I'm up.
huh?
I'm talking about fishing.
Oh, fishing. Well, I mean, my brother drives, so like he's the only one that can't drink. I guess it just on a busy day it's tough to drink. I mean, we run.
We do trolling
Yeah,
for walleye.
we don't really do much jigging. We do trolling with planer boards. So we'll run 4 rods off each side of the boat, and on a good day, I mean, you're constantly fishing. But we usually save the beers for cleaning at 8 in the morning.
We like to, it's like kind of a tradition where we get tuned up the night before till like 3 in the morning, and then you get out on the boat at 5 and then ride the 3-foot waves.
And then blame like the throwing up on motion sickness.
Yeah, it's kind of a good routine we've had going on here for a while.
Yeah, you kind of play that game where, you look at the waves and they're going to be too high, so you figure you're not going to fish tomorrow, so you just drink and then you end up fishing anyway.
Yeah, take your Dramamine and catch a couple tasty ones.
Yeah. So do you guys have like a camp or anything on that property, or are you guys just going up for the day, or like how do you guys do like weekend hunts there?
Yeah, so our grandparents have a place about 15 minutes from the property. It's actually his property. And and Ryan's dad has a place up there too. So we have spots, but we don't have any like camp on the property. So usually we'll wake up and we'll drive 10 to 15 minutes to the property. But, we kind of make a trip out of it too. We see the grandparents and whatnot. It's not
That's
all
good.
hunting.
I'm sure you
We
probably
thought
eat better
about-
staying with the grandparents too.
Exactly. Grandma loves it. And she loves when somebody gets a deer. You guys, you think you're excited when you get one? Wait till you see Grandma when you bring a deer home. She goes nuts.
She does all the cooking for you.
Oh yeah.
So
Yep.
do you guys
You know,
eat the heart out of your deer?
Eat the heart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sometimes,
delicious.
not all the time. Yeah,
Not raw.
No, we're not those guys. We cook them,
the heart.
but
I think a lot of people overlook. If we can remember to grab it, which we should more often than not, we'll grab it, bag it, take it back, and we cook it up within hours.
yeah,
Just
that's how we do
super
the
simple.
tenderloins.
Yeah,
in the heart.
Yeah, we do all of our processing in our barn, and that night whoever gets a deer, we process deer for all of our buddies and everything, and we don't charge anything. We just ask that they stick around and help and drink beer with us. The only thing that we do ask is that we cook up their tenderloins and heart that night to give us something to eat while we're cutting meat. So it worked out pretty well for us.
Yeah. I don't think we've done tenderloins that night. Something maybe we can try this year. But usually with the heart, it's just load up the pan with some diced onions, some butter. I think we normally boil the heart for a good amount of time, get all that nasty, green foam out of it. Yeah. And then just slice it up, toss it in there, a couple minutes on each side and take a bite out of it. I mean, it tastes just like a typical venison steak or something. It's good. I like it a lot.
Yeah, we just basically just soak ours in a brine for a couple hours before we get ready to put it on the grill, and then we just slice it up and cook it up like deer steaks. And we've had several people over at the house that have never eaten heart, and they're kind of afraid to try it. But once they try it right next to the tenderloins, they're like, holy shit, like that's damn good piece of meat. I can't believe I've been leaving this in the gut pile.
Exactly.
We've tried to get people to eat the heart that we got, and I think the fact that they know that it's a heart, just they already have a mindset that they don't like it, even though it's good.
I totally understand that because my grandpa, he's like super old school. He's real big into eating like cow tongue and shit. And
Which is good.
everybody swears it's delicious,
Right.
but just knowing that it's a tongue, I can't bring myself to try it. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. It ain't
For
me.
sure.
So we kind of got off on a tangent there, which I told you was going to happen. But we kind of gave you the rundown on how White Cat Outdoors was started and everything. But we haven't heard where did Deers and Beers, like I know you had said that, you don't like to take yourselves too seriously, and that's where like the memes come from and the hunting, but like the name and everything, like where did this all start for you guys?
So, yeah, last year, at the beginning of hunting season, I was in college, and so I haven't really been able to do the hunting that I've wanted to the past 5 years. So Ryan has kind of been, I played football in college, so like I can never go on weekends. But Brian's been up there, and so finally this past year, we got to talking. I still haven't been up. I went up I think twice last year, and we just got to talking, and he suggested we start doing some hunting YouTube and Instagram pages, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, absolutely, why not?
Yeah, it's kind of like, well, what do we both like? Well, we like to hunt. We like to drink beer. We were kind of throwing some other names around there, and it just really wasn't sticking. She said, well, let's go with Deers and Beers. And it was more just for us. Like, we could just kind of mess around with each other on there. And I don't know, kind of throughout the hunting season, I had a really shitty year, and I didn't get a deer. Kyle got one, a really nice doe. And it was kind of like, well, I don't know, we're just having fun with this. And then just kind of over the summer, it just kind of, started getting some more followers. We're not chasing followers by any means or anything like that. But
yeah, neither are we. I mean, it's like, we do our own shit, and if people like it, they'll stick around. If not, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. If I make a stupid meme about shooting spikes, or holding out for that 10-pointer that you're never going to see, it's just a joke. Don't take yourself too seriously. And people kind of started liking it and reposting here and there, and just kind of we were like, well, let's just keep it going, and see where it goes. And we're not trying to make money. We're not making hats. We're not doing this. We're just kind of just going through the motions, having fun. And people could just get a little appreciation for hunting in general, and just the lighter side of hunting and killing deer and feeding your family. That's kind of all that I'm in for. Just kind of bringing that side to hunting industry, I guess you could say.
No, I feel you. We're coming from the same spot. I mean, we do the podcast and stuff, but we don't have any sponsors or any endorsements whatsoever, which
Right.
is pretty cool because like we can say whatever the hell we want. There's nobody that's like giving us a check that says you have to say that this product is king shit or like whatever. There's no pressure to like kill these monster deer.
Exactly.
We're just like we're doing our own thing. If we try a product and we absolutely love it, we'll talk about it. If we hate it, we're gonna say the same thing. None of us wanted to like watch what we say. Like
Right.
we've always went for that raw feeling. Yeah, for us, like we really like when we did the podcast, like our biggest thing was like we wanted to like feel like everybody was like out in the woods hunting deer, and you just came back, like your first beer just got cracked, you're sitting at the table at hunting camp, and then like the BS just started rolling. And that's kind of like the feel we try and go for, I guess. And like I said, we're not really like pursuing sponsors or anything. We're just kind of doing our thing and having fun with it. It actually costs us a little bit of money to do it, but like not enough to like make us not want to do it, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Just down to earth, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I mean, hobbies cost.
Yeah, I mean, we got trail cameras out and we got pictures of really nice bucks. But my brother Tom here he can tell you, and I'll tell you, I'm honest about it. Like, I don't hold out for shit. There's only one buck in the like 10 years I've been hunting that I held out for. Every other time I shoot the first legal buck that walks by, and I went on a 3-year streak in a row that it just kept getting bigger. And like I killed like 3 pretty decent bucks like first day of the season in archery, and like they just kept getting bigger, but it just happened to be like the first year that walked out, which was kind of funny. And now I'm on like a 2-year dry spell, but that's the highs and the lows, the whitetail.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and that kind of ties into my closing. Put it in pen. So I'll save my comments for that. But
yeah, I appreciate
I'm with you
that.
100%.
We've had guys do that before, where they're just like, "Well, here's my write it in pen." We're like, we kind of like to save that for the end, but what happens happens.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. If you like, personally, for me, I've shot I don't know. And 5 of them were a year and a half old, 4 points, 6 points, smaller, basket. Eventually, I just kind of got to that point where it was like, I'm going to hold out. And I went a couple years without a buck. I was filling my tags with those, so I got my meat. And eventually, something just clicked. It was like I saw my first mature, like 2.5, 3.5-year-old buck. And
Well,
he came
we're
into
chasing
range.
the same size, like here in PA. Like 2.5 to 3.5 is a good deer.
Yep, exactly. And once you if you everybody knows what like a 1.5-year-old 4-point looks like. They kind of look like a doe with antlers. In the rut, they're a little more beefed up. But when you get a 2 or 3.5-year-old in front of you, I mean, they are giants compared to a 1.5-year-old. And once I got that rush of, oh my God, like there's a horse with antlers in front of me, I was like, I never want to go back to shooting a 1.5-year-old again. And I'm not knocking that at all. Like if somebody wants to blast a 1.5-year-old, do it, man. Like get your heart rate up.
Yeah, our
have
biggest
fun,
thing
enjoy
is shoot what makes you
all the
happy.
time.
Yeah. Well, it's like that's one thing. Like, do you guys have antler restrictions in Michigan?
So the state kind of busted up and they actually just released the 2020 hunting guidelines a few days ago that I was looking at. And in our particular county, it was kind of affected by CWD, which is chronic wasting disease.
Yep.
You're
Yeah,
probably
we're
familiar
dealing with it here too.
Yep. And it was pretty bad last year. But this year, they've kind of relaxed the restrictions. But our particular county does have APRs, and it's 4 points or 1 on one side. And I'm happy about it because I would rather – I'm a big QDMA advocate. I don't wish that they would put that in the rules across the whole state because I think you should be able to shoot what you want as long as it's legal. But personally, I'm waiting for a larger buck. So I'm happy with the happy with the APRs in our county. So yeah, we abide by the 4 points on one side or better throughout the whole season.
Yeah, so PAs, except for one little tiny section, it's 3 on top. So they're actually not even calling it 4 on one side. It's got to be 3 up. So technically you could shoot a 6 point that didn't have brows, essentially.
Right.
Which for us, in PA, a lot of times that is the start of the 2.5-year-olds. Is that
Right.
3 up? Once in a while you'll get those, 1.5-year-old bucks that do get the 3 up. They've got that tiny little 8-point rack. But for the most part,
Mm-hmm.
Your 16-inch wide 8, that's a 2.5-year-old deer all day around here.
Yep.
So PA kind of almost forces us to wait for those 2.5s once you're over the age of 16. But like I said, there's always, I've killed a 1.5-year-old 8 that was 13 inches wide. But
Wow.
But that was other than that, for the most part, like I said, it's them 2.5s. But it's, we enjoy, holding out for a little bit. And like I said, I do shoot a lot of the first things I see. Just, I get so excited, and Tom's a lot more selective.
Oh yeah.
Tom's more selective, and I think he's got more bucks than me anyway. So I don't know if my plan really works at all. Really.
Time in the woods. You were in college for
There's a little luck
the last
hunting
4
too.
years.
Oh, there's a lot of luck.
There's a lot of luck, and that kind of goes back to the whole. You hear a lot of these guys like public lands, like the huge creek right now, right? You got to go hunt the swamps, get
In
in
a
your
saddle
canoe,
as well.
Yeah, get in your saddle, get in your,
It's got to be. It's got to be a 5-mile trek.
Get in your canoe, go all the miles, 2 miles back in the swamp, and yeah, that probably works, okay. But you don't have to do that to kill a big buck. We've all heard plenty of stories where the guy who goes out one day and sits 200 yards in the parking lot, or drives his ATV out to his stand and shoots a wall hanger.
Happens every day on opening day.
Happens every day. Everything changes come opening day. So, you just gotta find your groove. If you like going way back, that's awesome. Good for you. I wish you the best of luck. But don't bash on people that don't do it, or don't say it's impossible to kill a deer without doing what that person's doing, because that's totally untrue.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. I get irritated a little bit. I don't really vocalize it much, but when you get those guys that just hate on everybody else because they're not doing it their way. If you I don't care if you haven't killed a deer in 10 years. If you're having fun with however you're doing it, who's to say that you can't hunt deer that way? If that's what you want to do. But we.
And I think.
Okay.
I think the tide in the hunting industry when it comes to viewing hunting like that. I think, especially with another account, I don't know if you guys follow him. You probably do. You're familiar with him, but Okayest Hunter.
I know of them. I can't say that we follow them. I know I've seen their stuff before though. I don't. We could. I don't know.
Yeah, their biggest thing is, whatever you shoot, be happy about it, as long as it's legal, and stop buck bashing or antler shaming, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
I'm kind of on the same boat as that. Like, I have my preferences, and they're totally different than Kyle's. And if he shoots whatever, dude, I got his back, and I love it. I love the excitement when other people shoot deer. I'm kind of over shooting deer. Like, I love hunting, I love killing them, but I get way more excitement out of other people killing their first deer, getting their first buck, than I do getting one myself. So, as I get older, it's kind of like, what is hunting really about? It's about making memories and having fun with your family and your friends.
Getting outdoors.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a key point that we stick to as well. I mean, like we all hunt private land. The only public land hunting we used to have coon hounds, and we ran raccoons on public land at night. But all of our deer hunting's done on private, or like we've got some, like Frank hunts some leases and stuff. So none of us are out like trekking it through public land. But I think it's like you said, it's a different challenge with private. Like, I'm not saying it's easier or harder than public. It's like there's a different challenge to it, because like, say you've got, like a 50-acre parcel to hunt, like, yeah, it's private, but like if there's 4 guys hunting it, like it probably has more pressure than the 3,000 acres of public down the road.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of guys like forget that, where like hunting those small parcels with like a whole family, it can get a lot of pressure if you got guys in there 4 days a week.
Let alone all the neighbors.
Yeah, that too.
That's another thing with hunting that kind of bothers me. Is like, everybody seems to hate their neighbor. Like, one guy will get a picture of a trail, get a trail cam pick of this big 8-point or whatever. And that's his deer. He's going after that, and the neighbor shoots it, and he holds the animosity against him because he shot. Like, you don't own the buck, right? Okay, you have 40 acres. The buck moves a mile during the rut, like in 10, 15 minutes, and it's just like, nobody who like actually likes their neighbor, or even knows their neighbor. I don't know our neighbors. Never met them in my entire life. I don't dislike them, but yeah, I feel like hunting sometimes brings the worst out in people when it comes to jealousy and animosity as well.
Yeah, I totally see that, because like I don't know when you guys started following us, but like last rifle season, we made a post about a buck that got killed, like on the neighboring farm, from where we hunt, and it was, that was the buck I was holding out for. Like I said, there was only one buck I ever held out for, and because I know the score now, I can say it, but like it was a mainframe 8. It was like 164 and change.
Wow.
It was just like an absolute slob, like something you'd see out like in the Midwest. And we had pictures of him for 2 years. So like,
yeah,
that was a deer I was like, okay, I can respect that deer enough where like I'm going to hunt that one.
Right.
And we never got an opportunity at it. And we were getting ready for rifle season. And do you guys do any deer drives in rifle season? Like, are you guys for that or against it, or?
I'm for it. Our property's not set up. I've done them before on friends' property that are mostly woods, but ours is kind of a mix of brushy field with a little bit of woods. So
Gotcha.
We don't pointless. We'd be pushing them onto the neighbors if we tried.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, like, just I guess I'd ask before. I'm still going to tell you that we were doing a deer drive, but we were getting ready to do a deer drive, and I got pictures from my cousin Frank actually, and he said, "Hey, I think that buck got killed." And like he sent me a picture, and it was like without a doubt I knew it was, because like I said, we've been following it for 2 years, and it was like the neighbor. He was out. He was doing something. He's got beef cows, I think. Something.
He moved his cows from one pasture into another pasture so he could hunt the pasture that his cows were in.
Yeah, so he moved the cows like in the morning and then went out for the afternoon, and he was in the stand. I think he said like 45 minutes.
No, he never went to the stand.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll take the story away then, because obviously I don't know it.
Yeah, what happened was he was walking and he kicked up a buck, a nice buck from what I understand, and he couldn't get a shot on that buck. Well, the buck ran into some thick shit and kicked out this even bigger buck, and he was like, "Oh, that's pretty nice," and he shot it and got up to it and was like, "Holy shit."
Yeah, he had no pictures of it or anything. He found it shed like the year before, But he had like no idea what he was about to walk up on.
Yeah, even I mean it was what 160.
164 and
it was
change.
an 8-point.
Yeah, it
It was
was.
just an 8.
Yeah, it was insane.
It's on our
Instagram.
page.
I can send you guys a picture afterwards, so you're not like scrolling forever. It was
Yeah.
like last rifle season. But anyway,
Well,
like what I was
I'm-
getting at with that story is like we weren't bitter at all like about it. Like I know Frank actually went and helped the guys cape it out so we could take it to the taxidermist. We like congratulated him and everything because like it's just like it was for us. It was just cool to know that there was a deer of that caliber running on the farm.
And hopefully he bred some does in the area, so
Yeah.
those genes are still around.
Yeah, so like it sounds like we line up a lot closer than I realized on a lot of things. Like we just like it was cool to be in the game with a deer like that, and to even if the closure didn't mean us killing it, at least like we got to see it like in all its glory and everything. So that was pretty cool.
And like
About the hunt.
Yeah, exactly.
guys
It was about
were-
the hunt.
You did. You just didn't come away with the prize.
But we have the big farm up in New York, and there we got really decent bucks on camera. The guy that owns the camp, he's a reconstructive face surgeon, and he's a big time hunter. He does a lot of food plots and everything. But we do deer management up there. It's just under 1,000 acres that we work. But we get some really nice bucks up there, and so many times you get pictures of these monster bucks, and then come deer season, it's like they disappear, and you have no idea
You're gone.
what happened to them. So it was cool in this situation that we've been watching this deer for 2 or 3 years now, and finally there was some closure on it after. I mean, unfortunately, it wasn't one of us that had been pursuing this deer. This guy got lucky, and it just kind of fell in his lap, but it's a local farmer. It was
He's a
in
good dude. Yeah.
and in my opinion, it was better than his nephew's cousin or something coming up from Florida and sitting in the stand one time and getting lucky. I was glad to see that it was
A good guy, a hardworking guy in our town, and
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's definitely fun hunting one particular deer. You know, I'll put cameras out. You know, sometimes I don't put them out until like mid-October. Other times, like I've had a camera out on the property this year for about 2 months. But what I'll try to, like this one buck, I'll just give you a quick story. So I've had this one buck. He's probably like 5 points on one side. He's at least probably 5 years old because I've had him on camera for 3 years. We had 5 on one side, and the other side was just like this gnarly mass that came out probably like 1.5 feet and split out into some different points. I had him on camera multiple times, and it was last year during the rut. I was hunting. It was like 10:30 in the morning. I text my dad. That's all right. 11 a.m. So in 30 minutes, let's get down. 5 minutes later, I look up, and he's coming right for my stand. I somehow am able to grab my bow, draw back on him without him seeing me, and then he stops 20 yards, maybe 15, facing me. He starts throwing his nose up in the air. Like he knows something's wrong, and he's facing me. And in my mind, I'm thinking, do I shoot? I'm shooting Montex G5, like just a solid one piece. Like I've never taken this shot. He's a giant buck. What do I do? And I said, screw it, just go ahead and shoot. And just as I'm getting ready to touch off my release, he goes to turn, and I just kind of flinch and I shoot, but I smack him like perfectly broadside. But it's a little far forward and a little low. And he runs off like he's smashed. Like I'm like, oh my God, I just smoked a buck. I'm shaking. He looks like a horse running through the weeds back into the, and like it's close to a heart shot, but I don't know if I got him. The arrow probably went all the way through him, but it wasn't a pass through. And I get down and I find a little bit of blood, track him for about 400 yards out of the neighbors. They're like, go look for him. And I just kind of dried up. And I figured he was gone. I didn't kill him because I missed the heart and was a little far forward. And, you know, I went back to the neighbors 2 months later, knocked on doors. Hey, anybody killed this deer? Anybody find him? I just asked a guy about a month ago on Instagram that I met that hunts real close to me. He's never seen the buck on camera, never seen him dead. So, like, I don't have that closure. I don't know if he's dead. Should I have called a dog? I don't know. But, you know, it just kind of sucks. Like when you've seen that deer on camera for 3 years, then you get him in person. He's right in front of you, and you actually get a shot on him. It's like all the stars lined up. It was just bad luck, and I probably shouldn't have shot. That's what kind of like hurts me the most. Like I wounded this deer. I probably shouldn't have shot, but I did everything right. So I got a ton of confidence going this year, knowing that like I can get a shot off on a big buck. And that's like the biggest thing in hunting, just having confidence knowing that you can get it done. You know?
Yeah, confidence is everything in hunting. We're all big believers in that. So you had mentioned earlier, like how you got like, it necessarily isn't even like about you specifically killing the deer. Like you said, I couldn't remember if it was Kyle or Ryan that said that you guys were like, it's not really about like you killing the deer specifically. It's about like the chase. And I did want to ask, like, is that where kind of like the Whitetail Coffin Club came about, or like how did that get started?
Yeah. So this is Ryan. I've been filming my hunts since probably 2010. I don't film my bow kills. I don't have a camera arm. I just would rather not have a camera on my bow stand. But I always keep a camera with me, and I'll film deer, and I film all my gun hunts. And I just got like 10 years of footage, maybe like 10, 15 kills on there. And I figured, well, might as well just, if we're going to do this whole social media thing with Instagram, might as well come up with something else for YouTube, because I like to edit my videos. Just like stupid.
He loves editing.
Yeah. It's like stupid, simple Windows Movie Maker. It's just like the worst program ever, but it's simple enough for me. That's what I want. So we're like, well, let's just throw some mud at the wall and see what sticks. You know, Coffin Club on YouTube or Deers and Beers. And Coffin Club, I realized YouTube is very tough to break the ice, and you got to really put time in as opposed to Instagram, when you can just post a picture with a couple hashtags and like you can reach the whole world with it. It seems like in a couple hours.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like my baby. Like I really like to put my hunting videos out there. So as long as I can, get some more footage this year, I'm hoping to get more traction in that. But that's kind of like our YouTube, our serious side. Like this is our lifestyle. This is how we hunt. And Deers and Beers is just kind of like the more separate. Let's just have some fun.
Yeah.
Make some memes, mess around more. But the joke account has gained way more traction than like the serious account. But
Right.
I mean, it is what it is. Like I printed off a Whitetail Coffin Club sticker and slapped it on the back of my truck. It's just like that. To me, that's, and then Kyle came up with the name. But to me, like Whitetail Coffin Club is like, that's who I am as a hunter. That's kind of where that spurred from.
So do you guys have an Instagram for that, or is that just your YouTube page?
So that's our YouTube page.
I just didn't know. Like I knew you have Deers and Beers on Instagram, and Whitetail Coffin Club is on YouTube, but I didn't know if like you guys had a corresponding YouTube or Insta for that, or if it was just like two separate things, but you guys run both.
Yeah, we have like an identity crisis between Instagram and YouTube. We have Deers and Beers as Instagram and Whitetail Coffin Club is our YouTube, but it's really all the same. So we're planning on kind of trying to join those together pretty soon and going into the season, because we really want to, because it's pretty hard to put content on and your serious side of hunting when it's not hunting season. So that's kind of when it comes into like the Instagram stuff, and that's kind of what this whole off season has been about, just memes and connecting with people.
Now, do you guys make your own memes? You guys, your own meme farmers?
Yeah, man, we we got our meme accounts, or not meme accounts, our meme apps that we make memes on, and it's all original. We don't copy anything, so we take pride in that.
Yeah, that's nice.
But we to take a lot of interest in our Whitetail Coffin Club on YouTube this season, because finally I can get out hunting, because I'm done with football in college, so I can get out most weekends, and I'm going to get my own camera, so we'll have 2 cameras to take footage of, and we're actually looking to get pretty serious into that. But the Deers and Beers is still going to keep rolling.
That's going anywhere.
No. We got a lot of chugs to send to people.
Especially camp rolling around here. We're gonna have some fun this year.
No, we're excited for that. I enjoy the memes, especially when it's they're original. And I was about 99% sure that you guys were original when I had asked it, because like when I see your stuff, I know it's not. I haven't seen it all over Horn Hub and Run and Arrow and Brown Gold and stuff.
For sure.
But I mean, we've tried the memes and stuff, and for whatever most of ours are, we just can't get those ones to grab any traction versus our other posts. So I guess maybe we're just not a meme page or our shit's not funny. I don't either way. But that was like all early on. So I don't know. Maybe try it again because like everybody likes to laugh and there's so much to joke about in the hunting industry and just with the ridiculous trends and there's always somebody that's getting put on blast and whatnot.
There's a lot of stuff you can make fun of and laugh about and all that. But Instagram is funky. Like you have to do it a certain way.
Yeah, even just like the time of day you post is one thing I've noticed.
Right.
Like you post it like, there's like for whatever reason, like you post it like 9 in the morning, you're not gonna get shit. But if you would have posted at 8, it'll be better, or like noon, or like 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like it's just weird that like certain times of days, or even days of the week, it's just I don't know.
We found that Sunday evenings are pretty solid, and it's
after family dinner, everyone's on the couch scrolling through Instagram.
Yep.
Looking for a laugh.
It's weird though, because like we'll spend a lot of time making one meme that we think is hilarious, and it gets like 50 likes. That I just, we made this meme last week about, I can't wait for opening day, and then it's like just 4 stupid pictures of like a mosquito and a guy sweating. Like, I can't wait for opening day, but when that day comes, you're just dripping sweat, swamp ass everywhere. The mosquitoes are just tearing your ass apart, and that's got like 1,600 likes, and I didn't tag anybody, and I used like 5 stupid hashtags that like aren't even related, and it just like blew up, and we're just looking at each other like, what just happened? Why? This is not even that funny.
I'm texting Ryan live like counts like why?
Yeah.
Why do you have this many stuff?
That was like we haven't had anything that big, but I know, like I said, we did like a lot of like the meme videos. Just like I love pulling from like classic movies or like old videos that like back when YouTube was like when it first came out and it was just like this like uncharted waters when we were all younger, with like just full of stupid shit. I like digging that kind of stuff up and putting a little comment to it. But like our videos would get like like 100 views, 50 views or something. And then like there was one random one, like I don't even remember what it was, but we had like 1,200 views. And it was like, I don't understand like why that one took off. Like, so I don't get it. But
yeah, it's too hard. It's too hard to crack the algorithm.
I've learned to stay away from videos. The pictures you can do way better with just picture memes instead of video memes. In my experience, when using likes, but
I guess that
we've been stockpiling memes all summer we'll probably start putting some out starting in October. They're mostly related to like deer camp stuff. So
yeah,
good deal. Well, y'all can relate to deer camp. That's our big thing. And we know about 2 years ago we built a little cabin up on our farm, just because like our property is like 45 minutes away, and me and Tom and Frank have been hunting that since I was 16, and we could drive up there. It's like my grandpa's property that he handed down, and it just keeps getting passed down. But we talked for years, like we should build a cabin up here. It would be so cool if we just like could do something like that. And then one summer, my grandpa was like, "Hey, I got this he had like a big pavilion out back, he used to raise beef cows, and it was like it had like the feeding troughs and everything. And he said, if you guys tear that down, you can have all the wood for it. We're like, and it had been up for like 40 years. And at first we're like, I guess it's more of just like a favor for Grandpa, but we started tearing it apart, and it was actually like, there was like 2-inch thick like white oak boards and stuff, and then like we peeled the shingles off the roof, and like the plywood was like brand new, like it never leaked or anything, like it was insane. So we like started meticulously tearing it apart, and ended up building a cabin for like almost no money. So that was pretty cool. It's like, when I say cabin, it's like a shed. It's like a 12 by 16 shed with like a wood stove in the corner.
Oh, you need.
That's like, I think I saw that on your page. That was awesome.
Yeah, I think it's been on there a couple times, but like, I wish we would have been into like filming stuff when we were building that, because that would have been a cool little story. But yes, like it's totally like off the grid. There's no power, no running water or anything. You sleep in the kitchen and in the foyer, because like you just like, it's like an open room with a table and 4 cots. But it's a good time.
What do you do for lighting? You have like
just like LED battery powered lights, that just like those puck lights. We just put some like double-sided like 3M auto tape and just stuck them to the wall, and once a year we change out the batteries.
You guys probably have a blast though when you're up there. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. The only problem is I don't know if we do any more hunting because now we'll go up Friday night and just like get drunk instead of like not drinking Friday night, so we can drive up there Saturday morning. So
Yeah.
but I mean, it is what it is. We have fun with it.
Half the time is half the fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we do tend
You
to
drink
find ourselves getting to the tree stand a little bit later in the morning hunts now, but
It's all the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fellas, I think we're about ready for a smoke break here. I'm thinking about the
Okay.
cabin and the dinners we cook on our stove and stuff is starting to get me a little hungry here. So I'll let you guys take it away with the this week's smoke break.
Kyle, go for it, buddy. You're all about the smoke break.
I got no good recipes for that one.
All right, folks. When we come back here, I'm going to talk a little bit about the actual disadvantages to having private property and having to travel to it. You might be
All right.
surprised what I got to.
All right, we'll leave them on that cliffhanger. Sorry, cliff notes, not the same.
What's your recipe, Ryan?
Oh, the recipe?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, we're doing the recipe now?
Yeah,
Sorry.
hit us with it.
Okay, yeah, so this is what we go for here. What I like to do is I go to the local grocery store, and you got to get like the Pillsbury pizza crust, and what you do is you cut it up in either in half or quarters, and what I like to make is cheeseburger turnovers with the pizza crust folded over top. So you ground up your meat, you cook it. If you want to put some seasoning in it, chop up some onions, get some cheese ready to go, and then you just make a cheeseburger turnover. Halfway through, you put a little butter on it, slap her back in the oven, let the cheese melt inside with the onions and your ground venison. When you pull it out, you got a nice buttered, crispy cheeseburger turnover stuffed with pure venison, and it's delicious. And that's kind of what my go-to is when I feed people venison that they've really never had venison before, because it tastes like a cheeseburger, and they seem to like it. So that is my go-to venison recipe, cheeseburger turnover.
And he's never fed me that, so that's
Because you like venison.
pretty messed up.
Yeah, that's it sounds a little animosity there. Never serving it up for him, but I think we're gonna have to try that because that does sound really good.
yeah, I'm all about it.
What?
I could even see you doing. Or now, are you doing? I guess like how big are you doing these? Like, are these like one of them's a meal, or is this more like an appetizer before you bring out the deer steaks?
Nope, it's a meal. You once you roll out, you got to like pop the whole Pillsbury thing, which never goes as easy as directions say. But once you get it out of the container, you roll it out. You can either do a half, which is a pretty big one, like the size of a pasty if you ever had one of those before, or you can cut it up into 4, and then they're a little bit smaller. But yeah, it's definitely a full meal. Like I'm eating 1 or 2 to myself. My wife will eat 1. My son might try 1. If he's up for it. And you can always toss in a salad or something, but it's worth a shot. I think it's pretty good.
That sounds really
They
good.
sound really good, and I've never had one, but it sounds
More
to me
cheese,
like
the better.
More cheese, the better.
I would imagine they pair really well with a Bush Light.
What was that?
I said I would imagine they pair really well with a Bush Light.
Yes, absolutely.
Everything does.
That's
That is true.
they just line up on your palate so well. You have to do it. No, that's
drinking.
definitely a first, boys. I've never heard of anybody doing something like that.
Yeah,
like
I think I got it on.
There is a little.
There might be a post about it.
There is a post on it if you want to look what it looks like.
Maybe halfway down somewhere.
They look delicious. Like I said, I've never had them, but
Oh yeah, and the kicker's bacon.
they
Put
look
some-
good.
Put some bacon bits in there too if you want.
I'm getting my wheels are turning. You can do all sorts. You put a little mushroom in there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Whatever you want for sliders, you can also change it up. Do a little quesadilla, venison steak quesadilla. I got that on the page too. Take a look at that. That's delicious as well.
See, that's right there is why we like to ask like our guests for a smoke break, because then we've got several ways that we eat our venison and our pheasant and doves. Like we eat pretty much everything we kill, and we've got our recipes that are good. But once you kind of fall into like the normal, like yeah, I cooked this and it was good last time, so I'm just gonna do it again. And you don't really think of any other recipes. So like it's cool when we bring somebody on and they throw us something totally different.
Yep.
That if we can put a deer on the ground this year, we'll definitely be giving that a try because that does sound really good.
Yeah, take a look at the quesadilla and the cheeseburger turnover. I mean, everybody does their steaks and stuff, but I dig into the whole like 5 ingredients or less. Like I'm not going to reduce a red wine or any crap like that. I'm just going to keep it simple that you can cook in any household at any time.
No Gordon Ramsay, but it sure tastes good, I'm sure.
Got it, buddy.
So, well, thank you guys for that. Like I said, that's going to be one we're going to definitely be trying this year. I know you said you left us hanging right before the old smoke break with some disadvantages of private land. So we can jump right back into that.
Yeah, sure. So, for instance, I'll just use myself as an example. Like, when you see a lot of guys that are like smoking these huge bucks and stuff, it's like most of the time, I feel like they have access to really good land, unpressured, close to their house. For instance, for me, like I mostly hunt the weather. So when I see the barometric pressure rising and the temperature dropping, I go onto wonderground.com. And when you see those two lines cross, like I hunt the X essentially. So when the temperature's down and the pressure's rising. But
what was the website you said you're using?
What was that?
What was the website? Something on W Underground, you said?
Yeah. Wonderground with the W. Just Google Wonderground, wondergroundweather.com. That's an app too. It's probably an app too, but they lay out barometric pressure, wind, all that. It's great. I love it. I use it all the time. Like I'll start looking at that weeks before I got a weekend hunt coming up. But if that pressure drops or the temperature drops and that pressure rises on a Wednesday, well, it's kind of tough for me to go hunt,
Mm-hmm.
And so if I don't go up till Friday or Saturday, it's like I missed that great day. I may not see that big buck because he's going to be bedded up or, sleeping in and not on his feet. When on Wednesday, he may have been moving through. So that, to me, like that's one of the big disadvantages is having, your own place is you got to travel to it most of the time, which could be quite far away. And I can't, if I'm sitting there and 200 yards away on the neighbor's property, I'm consistently seeing deer moving. I can't just pack up my stuff, get mobile and hop onto his land. I got to attract the deer to my property somehow. Sometimes you bait, but in Michigan it's illegal to bait. So it's kind of like, you got to think outside the box. Like, where am I going to hunt now to where I can get on these deer? Because come the rut, a buck's most likely going to be going, down that trail where those does are on the neighbor's property. So, like, to me, those are like the two biggest disadvantages for having to travel to your own private properties. You can't hunt when the weather's great unless you take time off on a Wednesday or Tuesday. Well, you're tossing kids in work. It makes it kind of tough. And then second, you're kind of landlocked. You got 1,000 acres, a little different, but we're stuck on 40. So it's, we got to do what we got to do on our property to bring the deer in or find where they are on our property, which sometimes can only be maybe 1 or 2 acres where they cross through our property lines at. So, yeah. But if you consistently hunt that area, they're going to be gone come the rut. And for us, our property is a rut property. We don't hold a lot of deer. It's more of a pass through. So you got to strategize how you want to hunt around your property. So we don't hunt too much, and maybe like the first weekend we'll hunt, maybe the second, and then I'm usually not up there again until the rut. And then I'll jump into my go-to stands and I'll hunt like a weekend or two before gun season. So like to me, that's the two biggest disadvantages.
Yeah, and we hunt our certain times too. Like we're not full day hunters either. We hunt our morning, we hunt our evening, and then we drink beer in between and we drink beer at night.
Not too much though.
I hear you. So how do you guys hunt your property? Like, do you hang stands like permanent stands or, ground blinds? You guys kind of carry in stands as you go? Like, how are you guys hunting that piece up there?
Yeah, so over the years, when I was younger, I was going up there, I was putting time in, I was hanging stands. We hunt strictly pretty much ladder stands. I have a couple hang-on stands with sticks. And I haven't put up a new stand or moved a new stand in probably 5 years because I pretty much got it figured out. Like a deer run's a deer run. As long as you don't disturb it, it's always going to be a deer run. And so I just kind of have my stand set up in certain areas and don't put a ton of work into stands. And our property is, we're pretty much the last property before the deer hit the ag. So as the pressure builds throughout the year, the deer they move later and later. So we're like a last light property, and then in the morning, first light. So we're shooting deer like that last 15 minutes of light and like that first 15 minutes of light.
So you got to get in there early too, then, to avoid like spooking them coming in.
Yep, and
we're always there like 30 to an hour minutes before dark.
Or like an hour, especially in the rut. I try to get out there an hour before light. Yeah. And I usually don't hunt my rut stands, which are kind of in the thicker areas, until the rut. You know, maybe I'll hunt opening weekend, but that's about it. Because you guys know how it is on private property when there's pressure and stuff. The deer, they just get nocturnal and they don't move much. So
yeah,
I'd rather keep that.
We have to do the same thing. Like if you're hunting anywhere close to bedding, you just got to get in there super early and get set and just sit in the dark for a while, because otherwise you're gonna spook deer coming in, or you got to let the woods calm down.
Exactly. Oh, I can't tell you how many times I'm walking out in the morning and I'm kicking up deer as I'm going to my stands. Like, well, shit, today's ruined,
And you don't see shit for 3-4 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, that's a good point though. You guys made with like the disadvantages and stuff. Because like I do understand it, because like we do have like some like piece that we can hunt close, but a lot of our hunting is done at a little bit more of a distance. So like if anything, before the time change, you can get out sometimes right after work. But other than weekends, like that's basically it. Because like by the time we get out of work, it's pretty much dark.
Yeah, I can make it out early season. I can make it out after work up to my property and get about an hour or two in. Like like I said, we're kind of like a last light type of property. So as long as I'm out there an hour before, I probably won't spook too much. But as you get closer to the rut, which is the best time to hunt, I'm now taking days off and driving up at 2 a.m, missing night hunts and all that stuff. But
yeah,
definitely planning your days, in advance. That's for sure.
So you guys do any hunting for any other species, or you guys do any out-of-state hunts at all?
I was just thinking about that earlier. No. For the most part, no. We whitetail hunt. We're the Whitetail Coffin Club. But I was thinking, there's coyotes, and we've got coyotes on film before. And if I see a coyote, I'll smoke one. But we don't really actively seek out other species like that. We don't.
No turkey hunting or anything up there?
No.
I think one day we'll get into it. We got shotguns. We got the land. I have the calls,
right,
and we got the time, but we just haven't done it yet. I have no idea how to turkey hunt. There'd be like a pretty serious learning curve, but a lot of times in like October, we'll see a flock, that's what they're called, like 15 turkeys walking through the woods, and they're like within bow range. It's like they're there. We got a lot of them. We just haven't actively hunted them yet.
Turkey hunting can be the most fun you've ever had and the most frustrating thing you've ever done. I can't tell me how many times me and Tom, we do a lot of like pair hunting, just because hunting private and stuff, they get pressured pretty heavily, and we've found that hunting in pairs works really well. And basically what you do is you set one guy up, and then the guy that's calling will sit like 30 yards behind the guy that's going to shoot, and that just kind of, we ran into too many accounts where you'd call a bird in and he'd get hung up at 70 yards, 60 yards. You just couldn't get a shot off. So what we started doing is dropping the caller back, so when he gets hung up at 60, he's sitting right in your wheelhouse.
True.
So just a little something to try when you guys decide to get into it. But there's so many times where like you're calling them, they're coming in, and all of a sudden they shut up, and you wait around for an hour, and you think the gig's up, so you stand up to go move somewhere else and outfly two birds that were 60 yards. You just couldn't see them. It gets so frustrating sometimes, but we love chasing them in the spring, because it just gives us something to do. You finished up deer hunting, late archery and end of January and stuff, and it just kind of helps take the edge off. get out there too and killing
Do you
some
ever
turkeys.
sit with each other when you're deer hunting? Like one guy filming because he's maybe tagged out or he doesn't, he's not hunting that weekend for whatever reason. So just go sit with one of you guys and he's got the gun. You guys ever try that? Cause
So
that's a lot of fun.
Back past couple years, we started to like kind of play around with filming, and when I say that, I mean like literally like just strapping a GoPro to our bow or our gun, and just like hitting record, and like literally the only footage we have is like the 30 seconds that the shot happened in. And this year we decided we wanted to like actually try and get some film, like like actually produce some videos and get some good content. So we went and bought a camera and got like a camera arm and everything. And my youngest brother Luke, like I said, he's big into fishing, but he doesn't hunt. So what he's gonna do is he's gonna tag along with one of us, just kind of jump around from each of us, and he's just gonna sit in the stand and he's just gonna videotape. So that'll be kind of cool to try this year, and hopefully get some good footage. Because like right now, like I've got a stockpile of just like shitty film of like just a real quick shot or like stupid interviews that we're just like screwing around in the deer stand and like not seeing anything. So it'll be cool to kind of actually try and film something and see what comes of it. But it's just something we started to get interested in and figured, hey, why not? Let's try it.
No, that's awesome. You guys are gonna have a lot of fun with that. My biggest advice for when you're doing that is just to don't have the camera on the whole time, but get some footage, because when you don't have to always produce that footage and edit it, but just for your own personal folder at home or something, you're gonna want to have that footage like walking out to your deer blind, loading up your gun, putting the window down, doing a little interview like, hey, it's been charged, we haven't seen shit. How are you feeling right now? Like all that stuff just kind of, it adds to the, the sentimental aspect of hunting. A couple years down the road when you go back and look at it, and then if you can get the camera on when you actually kill a deer, have it on while you're tracking it, have it on when the guy's approaching the deer, that first hands on the antlers moment. That's always special to me. So
yeah, like
that's my advice for that.
And like Ryan said, or like I said earlier, he is always filming, not always, but and he's been filming for so long, and I have gotten so many Snapchats from him of the most random film from our property that he takes.
I'm watching the film.
He's always watching film after work. He's always taking a peek, this was 2013. Remember when this buck walked through this path? Like, most random stuff, but he's got all the film and he's got stuff to edit, and he's got memories, and as much as I would make fun of him, it's kind of cool.
No, I appreciate the advice and stuff, because like I said, we're very new to the whole editing and filming and stuff. Because like I said, I've got tons of video on my phone and my computer of literally like the shot and that's it, or like just stupid interviews or like little bucks that I wasn't gonna shoot that I just like pulled my phone out real quick and videotape. So like it'll be cool to try and like create a film and like have my brother there, because like that's another thing where like my brother's so big into fishing and we're so big into hunting, and for us to find something like common like filming to like bring us together, because like all fishing season and stuff I was filming for him on the river and stuff, or the creeks, while he was steelhead fishing. So like I'd go out there and I'm like like laying in the water trying to get a good shot while he's fighting these fish, and so it was really cool for us to like get the filming involved, so that now it's like bringing us back together to like do something we love together, which has been really cool for us.
Yeah. That's what it's all about, man.
Have you guys ever like hunted out of state, or are you guys strictly into Michigan?
I haven't.
Just Michigan.
Just Michigan? Do you guys have any interest in like ever leaving the state, or are you guys pretty set into just killing bucks up there?
Maybe Canada.
yeah. If I was gonna go somewhere, it would be to Saskatchewan for a late season. But I'm like the whole, Illinois, Iowa, Texas, Missouri, whatever. Like I like putting the work in to kill my deer, and I'm not knocking. And like, don't take this the wrong way. Like,
Oh
if you
no,
go to
just
wherever,
say however you want. You don't have to censor yourself here.
do, but to me that means nothing to me personally. I would rather like put the work in, hang my stand. Like if it's a 3.5-year-old 8-point, and that's the biggest one I got on camera all year, and that's the biggest one I've seen, and I kill him. Like, dude, I'm on cloud 9. Like that is the best euphoria that I can have. And we have access to other hunting land. You know, we got a 2,000-acre farm we can go to, and the farmer's like, well, you know, if you want to shoot a buck, shoot a doe first. And that guy's got like wall hangers running all over the place. But to me, going out there, just blasting one within 2 hours, it's like, it's a great buck, but what does it mean to me? You know, not as much as getting one on my own property, even if it's smaller.
Yeah, and we talked about trips also, but they're all to like the UP, so it's still Michigan.
No, I respect that. We've taken, I guess me personally, I've taken 3 trips out of state. And like, I don't count New York because like we have property, we hunt in New York. We live in like Northwest PA, so we're literally like 20 minutes from New York. So like, I don't really consider that out of state. But I've hunted Ohio and Kansas for turkeys, but that was both on public land, and I didn't kill shit either place. But had a blast chasing birds. And then last year, me and Frank went to Ohio, deer hunting, like late season. Like we went in like February, and we went public land there and had a blast, but like we didn't kill anything there either. We literally went like totally blind. Like we were on Onyx and like was like looking at like satellite maps, and then just like drove into Ohio and just like started hunting. So it was like a fun experience, but it was like a lot of work at the same time because like we spent like 5 days there, and the first 2 was pretty much like scouting. Like we weren't even really hunting because it was just like so much to try and figure out the property when you got there.
Oh yeah, that would be tough. I mean, you can get it done doing that. Like you're a good hunter. You know, hang your head high, man. That's impressive.
Yeah, I mean it's like I said, it's fun. And then Frank, he goes to Alaska every year, but that's not for hunting. He does guiding. So he has hunted in Alaska for black bear back when he was in like high school. But he's been going to Alaska for a few years now. But he doesn't even buy a hunting license. He doesn't hunt while he's up there. He's just guiding. So he really enjoys doing that. His dad's been doing it for 20 years, and that's kind of what got him started. It was actually at the outdoor show in Harrisburg last year.
Wow.
His dad like was just getting out of guiding actually, because like the outfitter he was working for was retiring, so he was pretty much like, well, if the outfitter's done, I'm done. And they were just like walking through. Do you guys go to trade shows at all?
No, not me. They had like a small little hunting expo.
Yeah, I mean it's basically it's a hunting expo, but like the one in Harrisburg is like Harrisburg's like massive. Like the building itself is like over 15 acres. It's like stupid.
Oh wow. Yeah.
But they have like what they call like the outfitters hall, and it's nothing but like outfitters and guides. And they were just like walking through, and there was a guide that had like an Alaskan guide stand where people were like booking hunts, and my uncle was just like bullshitting with the guy, and he could like tell that he had like knew what he was talking about, and they just kind of got to talking, and he had said he was a guide for 20 years for such and such a guy, and he hired him like right there. And Frank, my cousin, was standing next to his dad, and he was like, well, do you guide? And Frank was like, no, but like I'll learn. So the guy like set him up and trained him to be a guide, and so like that's how he got involved in it, and he loves it so far. Like I said, he's like 2 weeks into an 8-week excursion up there right now.
Yeah, I think that would be like a couple podcasts in itself talking to that guy. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, we brought so I think it was like episode 6. We shot down in Harrisburg with Frank, his dad, and a guy that they used to guide with out in Alaska. And the reason the whole podcast happened was we had recorded one earlier in the week, and this was like early on, like I said, episode 6, and I somehow figured out how to delete the entire podcast and not get it back. So I was like, we can't, like, it's episode 6, like we can't miss a week already. So I drove all the way down to Harrisburg. I wasn't even planning on going to Harrisburg that year. So I drove, which is like 6 hours. So I drove all the way to Harrisburg, helped at the booth all day, and then they wanted to get dinner. Well, we ended up getting drunk at dinner and then went and recorded the podcast. We didn't finish recording until like 2 a.m, it was like 4 a.m. by the time I finished recording or finished editing and got it launched. And that was, it sucked, but like it was a lot of fun talking to those guys because like they just have so many stories, and it just like they just keep going. Like it was like a 2-hour podcast. It was insane.
That's awesome, man. I love hearing stories about wild trips like that.
Yeah, I'm like, and they're totally in the bush up there. Like Frank sent me a Snapchat when he was leaving Anchorage, Alaska, and that was the last I talked to him, and I won't hear from him for 2 months. And then next time I hear from him, he'll be like flying back to Erie. So he'll have all sorts of stories, and we're probably gonna have like a stupid long podcast once he gets back.
Living the dream.
Yeah, for sure. When he works a job that he can do it, he works for the state, so he's got like all this time off, and like he can take that kind of time off. So while we're talking about our podcast here and like doing the episodes and stuff, I noticed in your story the other day you guys were talking about recording a podcast, and I saw on the YouTube page you guys already like had launched an episode a few months back. Excuse me. Is that something that you guys are, like in the works of like starting like a frequent podcast, or is that just something you guys like to do every once in a while to like kind of update the people that follow you, or like what are you guys' plans for that?
Yeah, so like you said, we did do one in the past, and that was, when we talked about earlier, like we started, Deers and Beers, Whitetail Coffin Club back in the middle of last hunting season, in middle of fall. But we did that podcast, and me and Ryan at the time had lived, 25 minutes from each other. So I came over and we recorded that, and we just kind of, we didn't really let our personalities go, and it was kind of like, just a little, let's see what happens, let's do this little podcast. But, with our Instagram page kind of growing in numbers a little bit, we decided, we got a lot more people. Sorry, I'm buzzing, boys. We got a lot more people that, that follow our page and that we can reach. And so I was at work and I was like, we got to do it. It's been a long time since we've done a podcast, and I feel like I wasn't even myself. And so that's why I put that poll out there. And well, you guys kind of got me going, with, being on with you guys. I was like, well, we should, just kind of see, we should talk to the people that follow us, tell them like who we are, and just kind of shoot the shit. Yeah. It's not as much of a podcast as it is just kind of like hanging out and turning on the film and talking about, what we do, and, I don't know, just hanging out.
Sounds like,
like you said, almost like a talk show. If you're going over film, while you do it, that's actually like, that's pretty unique. Like there's nobody doing stuff like that. So you guys can maybe take the reins. I maybe shouldn't talk about it, but just take the reins and start. You're almost like a hunting talk show deal with some film and going over it and stuff would be pretty sweet.
I was like going through our page the other day and just like a bunch of stupid shit early on, and I was like, I have no idea what this even is. And it's like my own page. I was like, people don't even really know what we are. So like over like the past couple of months, I was like, Kyle, we need to get our story going more. We need to like, without like giving out our identification too much, we need to like put a face to our page a little bit. Have a little personality to it. So that's what he was like. Let's just do like a little podcast, like you and I, maybe go Instagram live or something, and just shoot the shit with each other. 10, 15 minutes, have a couple beers and just, get ourselves out there personality-wise. Like, this is us. Yeah, we don't shoot huge bucks, but, we have a great time. And, if we can stuff our freezers, that's what it's all about. Stuff the freezers, we drink beers, and we have a good time. Cheers to that.
That's all we want.
Absolutely.
No,
yeah,
we'll look forward to that.
That's the essence of kind of what that story was. You guys inspired me for the podcast, and I was like, maybe we should talk a little bit, about ourselves. It'll be 5 minutes, and
I'm not gonna lie. When you guys first asked to spend the podcast, I texted Kyle. I was like, "Holy shit! Like, they want to talk to us? Like, we're gonna tank their ratings. But what do we say?"
Dude, I don't think you could drop them any lower. But no, like I said, we've been following you guys for quite a while, and just like everything we enjoy, you guys seem to enjoy, and then even just talking to you guys now, like it lines up way closer than I even realized to begin with. And I guess for us, like it was like we don't have like a huge following either on Instagram and stuff. But people that like what we're doing will probably like what you guys are doing. And the style of hunting, like hunting Michigan is probably pretty similar to PA, with just like the pressure and the size of whitetail you're hunting are probably pretty similar from what I see other people doing in Michigan and everything. So like I think it'll be cool for that. Just like let other people know, like, hey, like there's another page out here that has the same values. Like, go check them out. And it's always fun to shoot the shit with like people. So.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, we follow people, but the people we follow, we try. Like when I'm looking, I don't know about Kyle, but when I'm looking through to find people to follow and stuff, it's just like it's mostly people like us, just like down to earth, simple, people that just like hunting. You got like the Drury Outdoors and the bigger names and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, that's cool to follow. That's just not who we are. Like that is so far out of our universe to shoot bucks like that and to hunt like that. I can't connect with it. It's fantasy land to me. So I'd rather find people, like you guys. I think the first time I saw you guys were like your pit vipers. You're holding a big fucking beaver. And I was like, oh my God, like these guys are my people. I hit that follow button. Like, I love every time you guys
That was,
post.
I think, our first post. So I didn't realize you guys are like OGs with our Instagram page. Like,
We might be.
you guys might have been like one
wow,
of our first followers besides myself. We were.
you might like nice dusters, like lip sweaters, and I was like, these guys are great. Like these guys, I would want to have some beers with for sure.
Well, we're gonna have to arrange the beer drinking, in person, because it's cool over the mic. But yeah, Tom started the old cookie broom or whatever you want to call it. We call it the Good Luck Mustache, and we rock that all hunting season, and it brings good luck to the group. Frank's afraid.
Yep.
Frank can't run just the mustache because he's been growing his beard for like 5 years, and he refuses to cut in a mustache. But me and Tom we shave in the mustache, and sometimes we get a little too drunk and wax it up, make it look real nice.
There you go.
But it's just like I said, it was all fun and stuff. We were sitting at the cabin that we built and just kind of like BSing amongst ourselves, and we were like, why don't we let's start an Instagram. So like we created the page at like 1 a.m, and then like the next morning we went out and we're checking traps because there's a little swamp behind the cabin. We were checking traps. And there was that beaver in the one trap. And I was like, dude, we could totally make like a sweet profile picture with this. So we like set my brother's phone like up in the crotch of this tree and just like put the timer, and like all of us just like put our pit vipers on and just like held this huge beaver. And we're like, oh yeah, that's like that's sweet. Like we just knew like we weren't doing it for anybody but ourselves. Like we found that cool as hell, and like that's all that mattered. And we just kind of went with it, and it's been fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you guys are. I love watching you guys. With your posts and stuff. Just it's fun. You guys have fun. That's the biggest thing. Is like you guys don't take yourself too seriously, but you guys still smash deer every season. So it's like this is like the best of both worlds.
Yeah, exactly. We just have a blast, and when we got 3 guys that are like hunting whitetail heavy, so like it's easy for us to get some sort of content with somebody killing something. Tom had a tremendous year this year. I think he killed 3 bucks between PA and New York.
Wow.
He killed.
Come on, and say something for the rest of us.
Yeah.
I'll try.
Yeah, he put one down in rifle in PA, and then he put a muzzleloader.
It was $2, 2 doe.
$2, 2 does. Sorry, I'm over talking him a little bit, but he had a good year.
4.
Yeah, he put 4 deer in the freezer last year, and
They're all gone now, but.
Yeah, Tom was just. It would literally like. It seemed like every time Tom went out hunting, he was calling me saying he's got one down and he's got to help me. Got to get it drug out. So.
He's a killer. Can't blame him for it.
I don't know. It had to be the Good Luck Mustache.
Right there. That's what it is.
It pulled its weight this year.
Where do you draw the line between luck and skill? Is it the mustache?
Oh, now that now
I
we're getting
think that
The,
is
mu-
the
the
line.
mustache is the line.
Okay. All right.
I think the
Here's-
only way
here's
to
the thing-
test it would be to hunt without one, but I don't see myself doing it. I don't. When I shave
Yep.
in that mustache, it's like I become one with the woods, and I don't know. Something else.
Here's the thing about mustache. Like Kyle can grow a way better mustache than me. So like he has a lot of pride in mine, but don't ever have shame in your mustache. Like
Absolutely
if you
not.
can grow on your like above your lip, below your nose, dude, have no shame. It's the mustache.
Yeah.
Rock it. I love it because you know what? My mustache, not great. But you know
Yep,
what?
I'm
It
gonna
gets
support
shaved in, and I tell you what, it's a good luck charm, and it, does
goes
us
back
good.
to that having confidence. But I tell you what.
And there's always dust for men light brown that works good for people with fair skin.
That's what the wax
Look,
is for.
man,
You just gotta get that colored
I
wax.
can grow one, but it takes me like 3 months. So like, if
Oh,
I wanna
buddy,
have
I think I started pruning for our hunting season like back in May. So we're going to be ready to rock come October.
Oh yeah.
I need about a week.
Yeah, Tom's, maybe that's why he's killing 4 deer, because he can, like October 1st, he just kind of thinks about it and he's got his mustache. He's
But
good
that's
to go.
really the only thing that grows in. It doesn't connect to the
It
chin
just
or
naturally
to
grows
the-
in all white trashy like that.
Exactly, yeah. There's no
Gotta
connection.
think of
It's the old Joe
So,
Dirt.
so not only the biggest buck, but he's bringing all the ladies back to deer camp. Attaboy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's perfect.
They,
It's a win-win.
I don't know what it is. They just love it.
I tell you what, girls will tell you they don't like mustaches, but they like mustaches.
It's secret. It's secret. It's
Yeah,
a,
they just
it's a
don't
girl
want you to
code.
know.
Yeah, they can't say it out loud, but like secret they do.
Yeah, women have
My-
like that
my wife-
unwritten rule.
Same thing with
Pretty sure I
mullets.
caught her one night.
Yeah.
I had one of those. If I didn't get a professional job, I'd still be rocking the mullet because that's a good look.
That's how I feel. I struggle with that all the time. I'm like, well, you know what? Do I have to shave it or can I keep it? Because I gotta plan it for 3 months. In 3 months, I'll have a nice mustache. But until then, it's gonna look
3
disgusting.
months. I'm sure you can grow a nice one in 3 weeks.
No. It's very slow. It's full, but it's slow. Very slow.
That's all right.
I feel you, Tom. I mean, I
Works
don't
good.
feel you because you grow.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Tom had like a mullet below his shoulders and a great mustache, and you wonder why he killed 4 deer last year.
Tom's got lettuce.
Oh yeah, I mean it. I don't care how much you hunt and how much you scout. If you got a nice duster and a nice molly, like you're blasting deer left and right.
Yeah,
Ain't that
doesn't
the
matter.
truth?
Tom can say that
I'll
firsthand.
vouch for that absolutely 100%.
Well, boys, it's we're getting close. We've gone over what most of our podcasts are, but I kind of saw that coming just because I knew how close, like-minded we were, and I've had a lot of side stories and stuff. But it's been really fun. But we gotta hit the write it and pen up. You almost gave it away early on. Glad you guys saved it. But whoever, Kyle or Ryan, wants to go first, or if you guys have a team, write it in pen. This is the point
That's
where we would usually say wet your quills and
You go first.
lay
Yeah.
it
Let
down.
me get it.
All right. I'll give my closing remarks. I am a 23-year-old rookie ass hunter. I hunted while I was in high school, and then I went to college for 5 years, and it's been a long time since I've been, since I consider myself in the game. I would like to leave the listeners with, it's never too late. It's never too late to start hunting again.
You're not even that old.
Yeah, I know. I'm really young still.
Well, I
but
guess
yeah.
it was probably something we probably could have hashed out earlier. We're the same age. I didn't realize that. Like, I'm 23, Tom's 22, Frank's
Yeah.
24, 25, and Luke's 21. So, I mean, we're right all at the same age. So another reason that just everything just kind of lines up.
Yeah. So Ryan actually was the one that got me hunting initially, and he took me on my youth hunt when I was 12. He was in college at the time. But yeah, like, I don't know. I don't really have anything to say. Like, I just am very happy that me and Ryan are, like, hunting brings you closer to the people that you're hunting with. And for me, that's family. And family's a big deal, and I don't know. I guess that's my takeaway.
No, I like that. It's
That's
never too late.
yeah.
For sure, that's a good point.
So for me, I'm 32. So I'm married. I got 2 kids. So like I took Kyle on his first youth hunt, and he shot a buck within like 30 minutes or something.
Oh, man.
So he got
You ruined him.
off.
Yeah, and so that drove me.
Yeah. And I guess the thing I'll leave for me in writing is, hunting, and what really bothers me the most sometimes when some people, they'll post a picture of a beautiful buck, whether it's one or even a doe. It's a 1.5-year-old, 2.5-year-old, 3, whatever it is, and they put a little disclaimer on there. Not the biggest one on the property, or we've seen bigger. He's not my biggest. It's like you pulled the trigger, you killed the deer, you wanted to shoot it, just own it, okay? Stop apologizing for killing deer, because there's nothing more sacred in life than going out and harvesting, which is a euphemism for killing. Like I'll say, like we kill deer. Yeah, okay.
We're big about you kill deer, you harvest corn.
Exactly.
We don't sugarcoat it. We're killing them. It's what you're doing.
Yeah, 100%. So if you're gonna kill it and you wanted to kill it, like just own it, okay? Don't apologize ever for killing a deer that was legally taken, and just soak it up, enjoy it. If someone and to all those people out there saying you should have passed or that was a baby, well, you got your own tag, and the guy that shot the one that you called a baby is now out of the woods. So that's one less hunter for you to compete against. So when you don't get deer at the end of the year, what's your excuse? So just hunt your hunt. That's the biggest thing to me, and be proud of whatever you shoot. If for some reason you're like, well, it wasn't big enough, well, maybe next year don't shoot one that big or that small. Wait for a bigger one, and eventually you'll progress through your hunting career. Because Kyle and I are 10 years apart, and we're on separate wavelengths when it comes to deer hunting. But I'll never knock him for shooting one, and he'll never knock me for not shooting one. That's just the biggest thing. Hunt your hunt, own up to it, fill your freezer, feed your family, crack beers with friends, have a great day. That's what it's all about to me.
And grow a mustache.
And grow a mustache. Absolutely. No. I'm with 100%.
Absolutely.
No, I really like that a lot. And like I said, we can't agree more on that. I'm just as irritated when I see that, not the biggest buck. Like I see that so much. Like, does Michigan have like a hunting page on Facebook? Because like PA has like Hunting Pennsylvania, and it's like, there's like 60,000 members. And every year there's like this kid that's like 12, 13, 14, like young kid, and probably holding his first buck. Like that smile should be ear to ear. And, he makes some comment like at the bottom, not the biggest buck on the page or whatever. It's like, dude, just enjoy the fact that you killed your first buck. I remember my first buck, I was hunting with my grandpa, and I was probably, we have a mentor program in PA, so I was probably like 11. And this buck came in, and it was a little 5-point, and just basically a spike, but had some couple little points off of it. And my grandpa asked me, he's like, "Do you want him?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want him. That's the first buck I've ever seen in the woods, And I pulled up, shot, and I didn't regret that shot once. And it was just like an amazing thing. I never understood why people regret or have to defend their kill.
Apologize.
Like apologize. Exactly. That's a perfect word for it. Like you killed it, own it, be happy about it, and go and celebrate with your buddies.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like us like-minded people, we need to support those people. Like if you see somebody buck bashing, call that person out. Be like, listen, buddy, it was a legal kill. Is his first buck or his 100th buck? Well, look at the smile on his face.
Yeah,
he didn't pass for. It's like stop bringing the guy down. If you want to wait for a 5-year-old, well, wait for a 5-year-old, but don't bash somebody else. It's like, are you mad because he's killing him and you're not, but you're too good to shoot a spike?
Yeah.
It's just it's just over the top a lot of times. And I think that culture's changing across the board.
I think it's definitely a little bit. And we do during deer season, we do what we call the big buck alert. which did really well last year. And basically, like, anybody that follows us can send us pictures of their buck, and we feature them and their kill as they come in. Like, it could be, you know, 1 a week. It could be 10 in a week. And we've got bucks anywhere from, you know, 160 down to like 90 inches. Like, it doesn't matter to us. We want the story on the buck, and, you know, that's it. Like, we want picture you with your deer and the story behind it. Like, we don't care what size deer you kill. Like, it's a buck, it's a doe, whatever. Like, you just enjoy it, you know. It all eats the same. That's what I always say.
Yeah. I mean, I have a 3, a 4, a 5, and a 7 under my belt. I got no regrets.
Yeah.
No
Just
regret.
keep pulling. Yeah, no regrets.
Like-
Keep pulling the trigger.
like you
Keep
said-
releasing the arrows, and
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, like he's playing college football, so, you know, Saturday's game day. Saturday night, you know, he's out getting ready. So maybe Sunday is his only day to hunt. And then maybe it's like after Thanksgiving, so it's late in the season, and a 3-point comes running by at 5:30 and gets dark at 5:35. Like, you think he's gonna pass? Absolutely not. And I love when he calls me and he's like, dude, I just shot a buck. I'm like, no way. You know, I'm like more jacked than he is. And I'm sitting at my house watching TV. You know, he's out there in the field, you know, killing bucks. So just gotta all support each other. That's the biggest thing with hunting, I think.
no, I couldn't agree more. Well, thank you guys. I really enjoyed talking to you, and I'm appreciating that you guys actually wanted to bullshit with us for the last hour and a half.
Yeah. They
It's
have
like I said, I didn't realize you guys lived so far apart, so it means a lot to us that you guys made the drive together to meet up and
I
sit
had to
down with
make an
us. And
excuse to come.
You guys popped our podcast cherry, so congratulations.
all right, that's perfect.
Such an honor.
So, all right, guys, appreciate it. I think
All right, brother.
we'll have to touch base again, you know, after season, see how everything went. Well, I'm sure we'll talk to you guys before then, but I mean, maybe another podcast once you guys get yours going, and it'll be fun this year to see how everything goes for
Yeah,
everybody.
we can get a part 2.
Oh,
Just,
yeah.
one
Because
more time.
There was a lot of stories I know that I felt like we could just keep going, and stuff I wanted to say that I'm like, you know, we'll be here all night. So we'll definitely have to talk again, and especially once we get Frank back too. I know he enjoys your
Bring
stuff too, so I know he's going to be a little upset that we did it while he was gone. But you know, we got to keep grinding while he's out having fun. So,
Absolutely.
You guys said you did something gun season, like what was it? Not a big buck pull, but
Big Buck Alert.
What was it called?
Big Buck Alert.
Big buck.
Yeah,
That's
basically
on, like-
it's just a post, and we just, you know, put the red sirens in the head, like in the post, and it was just kind of like a signature thing we were doing, and we actually had a big page copy us, like after, like, we were probably doing it for like 2 or 3 weeks, and like a big page started doing it, and I called him out on instant messaging. I was like, dude,
Yeah.
like, we've been doing this for weeks, like, you know, like, knock it off, basically. And they did stop, like, they changed it. But it was just something for us to, like, try and get, like, our followers involved, and just, like, send us pictures of your deer, and we'll post them up for you. And, you know, it's just something cool for, like, especially for me, you know, like, if you're having a rough season and you're not seeing shit out there, and maybe you are scrolling through Instagram in your tree stand, you know, you come across a big buck alert and kind of see, oh, hey, somebody's having good luck out there, and it hopefully brings your spirits up a little bit. So it's fun.
No, yeah, I love. Yep, absolutely. Well, if we get one, we'll definitely send it your way.
I appreciate it. Yeah, bucks or does. We post, obviously the does aren't going to be in the big buck alert, but we post does and anything else, even cool shit while you're hunting too. We like to post up because, like, there's all, you guys know, you've been in the woods long enough. You see all kinds of cool stuff that not everybody gets an opportunity to see.
Yeah, we have. I'm like fresh out of Venison, but we have an early doe season mission where you can take a gun out in like middle of September, and it happens to be on my birthday. So
That's why you want to go out.
yeah, I might try to get myself a birthday doe in September. I'll send you guys that way if I get lucky.
Oh, heck yeah. Going after a big old nanny.
I'm going to outdo him.
All right, boys. Appreciate it. Good luck
thanks
this
for coming on the
season.
show.
And we'll talk to you soon.
It's been real.
I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Have a
All right,
great night.
have a good one.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode with Deers and Beers with Kyle and Ryan. That was a lot of fun on that podcast. I really enjoyed that. Wish Frank would have been able to be around for it, but he's out grinding, doing his own thing. If you guys are tuning in right when it got released, it's awfully early, Sunday morning. But most of you guys are listening Monday, out grinding. So enjoy your day at work, and when that bell goes off, make sure you guys are getting outside.